All righty, what's going on, everybody? It's great to say see you. This is an on-demand webinar, but thank you so much for taking the time to watch the recording. We really appreciate it. I'm the VP of Marketing at Flxpoint, Ben Frank. Today, I'm joined by Mike Berno, our Head of Integrations, and we're going to talk all about eBay. We've got an exciting new feature that was just released. eBay published listings, which is going to really speed up the process that you have if you are currently selling on eBay, or if you're interested in selling on eBay and you aren't today. This will make it a lot easier for you to make that transition. But I'm not going to steal any of Mike's thunder. He's going to get into the nitty-gritty specifics about it. But high-level overview, if you are interested in eBay, or if you are currently selling on eBay, if you're currently considering Flxpoint and would like to bring eBay into your sales channels to expand, obviously to grow your business and increase revenue, you are in the right place. And with that, Mike, I'll turn it over to you for introductions.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, how's it going, everybody? Used to having these webinars live in person, but it's cool to have an on-demand one. So thank you for watching this, downloading it, however you're viewing here. So yeah, like Ben mentioned, I am the head of integrations here at Flxpoint, Mike Berno. We've been hard at work on this new feature for eBay that we know is going to bring a lot of value to our customers. So super excited to share that with everybody here today. And then we'll get into it, but we're coining the feature publish listings because that's just good old Flxpoint terminology for all of our sales channels, and we're creating brand new listings. But think of it as that, creating new eBay listings in bulk is really what we're trying to tackle here with this new feature. So yeah, I'm ready to jump on in.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate your time as always. We'll go ahead and kick things off.
Cool. Yeah, quick agenda. I think the meat of this webinar is going to be inside of the Flxpoint application, showing you this new feature. But we will go over a quick overview of Flxpoint for some of the newbies out there, maybe taking a look at Flxpoint in the early phases, and then an overview of eBay version 2. We've traditionally had an eBay integration, so this new feature is going to be part of our version 2 release. And then we're going to have an in-app demo of that feature before we say goodbye and sign off. That should cover us.
Awesome.
Cool. So yeah, let's start off with just an overview of Flxpoint, what we're all about, what we do here. So as you can see, Flxpoint sits in the middle of this diagram, and it's something that I love to show as a good overview of what we do. So over on the left-hand side of this chart, you'll see all of the various fulfillment sources, is what we'll call it, that you can connect with in Flxpoint. Anyone that's giving you product information, inventory, or pricing, or is fulfilling orders on your behalf. So maybe that's a dropship vendor. We have over 100 pre-integrated dropship vendors. So those are always a good place to start. And then we have 3PL and internal warehouse integrations as well. The names you see on the screen is not the full list of what we're pre-integrated with, but a good sample right there. So feel free to check us out if you want more information on that left side of the diagram of those different fulfillment sources that you can connect with inside of Flxpoint. And then the main goal for connecting with those, or one of them at least, is to have a digital product catalog created, managing any overlapping SKUs that are sold between multiple vendors or from your internal warehouse and vendors. But we will have in that kind of centerpiece of the equation here, creating that digital product catalog for you. And then once we have that in place, this is what we're here to talk about. We are able to publish in bulk those digital products in that catalog you've created up to various sales channels. And a major one we'll be focusing on today is obviously eBay. Like I said earlier, those sales channels that we have noted here are not the only ones that we integrate with. And we are highlighting eBay today, but you can always reach out to us if you have questions on how we operate with other sales channels here. But the key thing to get across on this diagram is the ability to take information from various sources of data and get that up onto your sales channel, including eBay, in bulk. And beyond that, what we're going to do, and this is for our eBay and really all of our sales channels integrations, is we want orders coming in, right? So once we get those listings up for you in bulk, people are going to start buying them, and we will route those orders for you. So a big chunk of what Flxpoint does is going from right to left on this diagram of importing orders from your sales channels with automation and getting that appropriately split up into fulfillment requests or purchase orders for whoever will be fulfilling that order. So a lot of good topics there that we could spend all day talking about, but we'll focus like we talked about here on our new features. We also do have accounting and ERP workflows and integrations to get all of the good data that we're collecting with your online transactions passed off to those reconciliation systems. So it's a good high-level overview of what we're all about. Our team can always dig into more details on any of the arrows you see here in this diagram, but I think that's a good first stab at what Flxpoint does.
That's beautiful, Mike. I always get pumped up when you go through this slide in particular. So I know I've heard a bunch now. It never gets old. And for those of you that have seen it before or haven't seen it before and it's new, obviously this is a complex thing. And some folks that are watching this, you may only work with one supplier and you really are only selling on your website or whatever it may be. The key to this is we can help in that scenario very easily. Everything else you're doing today is probably mostly manual. We can certainly automate all of that. But the other thing that we really help with is multi-source, one central, as Mike said very well, one central product catalog, digital product catalog that carries, houses, holds all that valuable information, and then multi-channel. So it's multi to multi and then back again, with us being the central repository that's helping pass and really power all of that going on in all these different platforms, channels, suppliers, et cetera.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that nailed it. And it's like, I feel like we could spend, a full webinar on each of those little areas. So it's always, I always get worried if we do the high level overview. So I think we explained it well there.
Yeah.
Cool. So diving in now into what we're here for. And this is the new feature that we're announcing. So we are now able to create listings in bulk on eBay via an API integration. So traditionally, Flxpoint has had an eBay integration, which works great. It was just limited in the area of publishing brand new listings for you on eBay. So we wanted to listen to our customers. We've heard that will be a big value add and time saver to add that operation to our integration. So we listened and this is the result here. So there's just to highlight some of what this does. I think the concept itself is fairly self-explanatory in terms of, hey, I want to get listings up on eBay and I want to do it in a bulk fashion. But just to call out, really what this is unlocking for our customers today. It really means no more dealing with those, spreadsheet downloads and uploads that a ton of people are doing to get their listings up on eBay. I know I've seen, we've even had instructions for how to take data inside of Flxpoint or wherever you're housing it, download that into a spreadsheet, manipulate it. Obviously it takes time in order to get it into a format that eBay accepts with their spreadsheet uploads. Very error prone, very manual. You got to have somebody plugging away on a spreadsheet in order to create those listings on eBay. So something that we're hoping to kind of combat with the ability to do this in bulk via API. The more we can automate, the more we can do in bulk actions for you without having to do spreadsheet manipulation, the better. So I think that's the biggest thing here. The other cool thing is you don't need to have a separate app outside of Flxpoint to have this done. We had customers in the past that would create listings in bulk, but they'd have to jump through third-party apps and stuff like that, where, really Flxpoint is that central hub for your e-commerce operations. So let's keep you away from those third-party apps and house it all here within Flxpoint. Some cool things that we've included with this iteration of publishing listings on eBay. If you've seen Flxpoint before, and you'll see it with this demo here, a lot of this is controlled through really dynamic and powerful mapping templates. So on these mapping templates, we've added support for creating not just fixed price listings, but also auction listings on eBay. So you'll have all the dynamic controls that you'll need to manage both of those types of listings. So I know a lot of people will have a hybrid of fixed price and auctions, which we can definitely help out with. But if you are selling one or the other, we got you supported on both. The other area we wanted to make sure we tackle is our customers that sell used listings. So eBay does allow you to sell used items on their marketplace. So we wanted to support that as well. For anybody that is, has their own inventory hooked up to Flxpoint or any internal inventory where used items might be a part of that, we got you covered. And then obviously we have support for new listings as well. And again, we'll see it in the demo. eBay has a ton of different statuses for their listings, not just new and used. There's various levels of used. So we'll cover how we can take a look at those as well. Great. And then another feature we wanted to get out with this very first go at creating a published listing on eBay is to control the selling limits that you have on your eBay account. Doing our product research, we know that a customers typically on other marketplaces or websites want to list exactly how many inventory items they have. If my supplier has 100 units in stock, I want to tell my marketplace I also have 100. eBay works differently. We know they put selling limits and insertion fees and stuff like that for their users. So we do have really cool configurations to limit basically the number of quantities that you're showing are associated with your items on eBay. It helps you stay within selling limits when you're dealing with the eBay marketplace. And I think it's definitely worth. It's something that we heard a lot of a need for, making sure we don't blow away by pushing 100 quantity, blow away people selling them. So good feature to have. And then finally, we're talking about publishing listings, right? That is the brand new feature that we're here to announce. But along with this, we actually reintegrated all of our eBay operations. So we do more than just publish new listings. We will keep your listings up to date with syncs in terms of pricing and quantity. We will also route orders for you. So having access to all of the API endpoints and the latest and greatest endpoints from eBay was something that we tackled along with this published listings feature. We basically reintegrated. So if you see eBay version 2 in the app, it is the latest and greatest API endpoints, where our legacy eBay integration still works great, but eventually we're going to have people migrate to the latest and greatest, because that's what it's all about. So just worth calling out that we do have an improved experience on all of our other eBay operations.
No, that's great, Mike. It's something I'm pretty pumped about too. And I know you've been working really hard on, your team's been working really hard on. So, we are here to talk about published listings, but the new V2 version of eBay is obviously the best, right? Best and brightest, a little bit faster, smoother. It's got all the bells and whistles that are available to us. So definitely check that out. And if you're on this, listening to this, and you are a Flexpoint customer, and if you have questions around that, please reach out to us. We're happy to help answer any questions you have. So, awesome. All right. Well, I will hand the screen share over to you, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so here for the demonstration portion of the in-app, this is the fun part, at least for me, getting able to show people inside of our app, how these features work. Ben, you see this okay?
I do. Yeah, I can see it great.
Alrighty, so I'm here inside of Flexpoint. Where I'm going to start here is our listing management page. So inside of Flexpoint, for the current Flexpoint users, this will be a screen that you're super familiar with. But you do have a dedicated page to view and manage each of your listings for different sales channels separately. It is our multi-channel support, multi-channel management. We are, like I said, we're gonna highlight the eBay V2 functionality here. But it's worth calling out that we have all of the operations, all the functionality that we would have with any of our other prime sales channels, of what you'd expect for eBay here. So getting things assigned to eBay and published up, one of the, we were talking before the webinar, just like, hey, what is the biggest value prop that our customers or potential customers are going to see from this? And truly, it's to be able to do these automated bulk actions, right? That's what Flexpoint's all about as an automation platform. We want our customers to be able to have diversified product lines on their sales channel. So whether you're selling on eBay now or you're thinking about it, it's a really good way to get products up in bulk. To me, the more products that are up and managed appropriately, the more orders that are going to come in. So I do think it unlocks a ton of value for anyone that needs automation and bulk actions for getting listings up. So really easy. The best way to do that, I already have a good assortment of published listings here on this test account. So we could always view and manage those to make sure I'm in full control of what my listings look like on eBay. We have the ability to perform customizations if at all needed on an individual product level or in bulk. People who are used to Flexpoint, love the if-then rules and statements that we can do to automate some product changes specifically for this eBay channel. I know maybe we have a special curation of eBay that isn't necessary for other sales channels. So we want to give you that ability through our channel listings page here. And like I said, we can take a look at all of these different edit actions for what we're able to do with eBay in terms of pausing listings to say, hey, hold off on syncing, in terms of deleting or delisting listings that we're no longer looking to sell on eBay. And then obviously publishing new listings and overriding the content for existing ones. So that's all we got to do to get items published on eBay in bulk. Right now, I'm filtered on what is already published, so I can remove that, look at the items that are not published, and I'll grab an assortment of these. Right now I have 120 listings selected. That's probably a small amount to do in once. We support well upwards of that. So if you're looking to publish, like I said, very bulk actions of these eBay listings, thousands at a time, that's fully supported here by the app. And all we got to do here is select the items that I've assigned to eBay, hit my actions drop down, and then go to this publish. So, yep, go for it, publish, and you can see with just a few clicks of the button, obviously there's a little bit of setup if you're brand new to Flexpoint to get to this place, but just with those few clicks, I am already queuing up and starting the process of publishing those items. So, like I said, this is a screen that's super familiar for most of our Flexpoint users. But if you haven't seen the channel listings management before, it's a really good view of how easy it is to assign and publish these items up on eBay. Obviously, I did a pretty big bulk action there. We have a ton of filters. We can filter just about on any piece of product data that you have here. So if you did want to do a more curated approach to getting your listings up on eBay, our filters are great for that, for determining certain categories or maybe price points that you want to start with, your top sellers maybe. So really good way to do things in bulk, but also curate and filter those bulk actions. Cool.
It's awesome, Mike. Awesome. I mean, just looking at some of this, not to derail your demo, but I mean, as an example, let's say that we're getting ready for the next school year to start, and I see as one of the categories is school supplies. So if somebody wanted to go ahead and get ahead of that and recognize the fact that demand is about to explode, they're not on eBay today. They could say, well, you know what? I've got, all these different, so I've got all these aluminum dry erase boards. I've got all these different things that I know people are going to be looking for. Just like that, you can get those products on eBay, just connect your eBay account and get those products on eBay in seconds? Is that an accurate statement, Mike?
Honestly, it is. The job itself, so I'll say the job itself, depending on how many SKUs you're publishing, can take minutes. But the actual process that I just walked people through of, like you said, finding what to merchandise and get it up on their eBay store, 100%. That is seconds if you know what you're looking for there. And yeah, that's a really good segue, honestly, Ben, to I think something that a lot of current sellers on eBay have dealt with, and it is categories, right? One of the approaches that our team suggests is to publish by category. Reason being, eBay has a extremely complex category structure, which is great to be able to have you pitch your items in a very specific niche or a very specific category that people will find. But obviously for eBay sellers, especially doing a manual approach to this, it's a bear. So it's something we really, really wanted to help combat. We have throughout our documentation and throughout our app ways to handle the complexity of eBay categories. So as you can see on this spreadsheet, and this is available in our support documentation, always reach out to our team if you're looking for more information. But we have via API, basically every single permutation of eBay categories that are possible. And with 4 levels of categories, it's extensive. I believe it's over at this point and growing over 40,000 different category permutations that you can have. So I will in just a second show you how our mapping templates can really, really help with this. But I do like calling out that we have a great support and our team is well aware for how to find the particular numeric eBay category ID that you want to sell in based on if you are selling in school supplies and what school supplies those might be, having you hone in on the appropriate category to put that in. A big piece that goes along with categories on eBay is certain required, what eBay calls aspects for each category. And in a lot of layman's terminology, I think of it as an attribute. But essentially, there are requirements on particular categories, and again, that we're going to call out and really help you with to say, hey, if you are publishing in this mouse pad category, you need to tell eBay the brand of mouse pad and the type of mouse pad that goes along with that. There's examples across the board for different categories on what is required, and we want to call that out, A, in our documentation, but B, like I said, give you a bulk way to combat that and provide the certain attributes or aspects that are required for each category. So a big spreadsheet here. I'll jump back to this in a second to show again how we can help manage this category tree, for lack of a better word. But yeah, I just figured a good segue. We're talking categories, something that we've heard can be a tough task for anyone managing these manually to pick and choose the appropriate categories when doing manual updates. Cool. So without further ado, like I mentioned, a lot of what unlocks our ability to integrate well with eBay is our mapping ability and the various fields that we have access to and different conditions that we can create as well. So our published products mapping template, you can think of as a translation table to say, okay, I have all this great data in Flxpoint here on my listings page. Where does that live in terms of a eBay listing? So we give the ability to, we have default mappings that we know work for the 90% of eBay customers, but you can tweak that as much as you want. So we'll properly map to the correct eBay description field, the correct eBay title field. We'll obviously send your images and those attributes I was talking about to eBay to help as well. But one of my favorite parts of our mapping abilities here is the ability to set these category IDs in a dynamic way. So like I mentioned, for each category that you want to sell on eBay, there's likely a single numeric code that you need to tell eBay you're publishing to in order for them to accept that the listing that you're creating. So what we've done here is given users the ability, and there's a few different ways to do this, but giving users the ability to set their own mapping set up to basically make a translation of text-based categories over to eBay categories. Our team is super versed with this. There's other marketplaces that work in the same way. So don't feel like today is the only way you can get information on how to set these things up. But it is a pretty quick and easy update to basically tell Flxpoint that will eventually tell eBay which text-based categories that are maybe coming from your suppliers or from your own internal systems to the numeric categories that are required by eBay. So again, in our documentation, we'll give you ways to create what we call a mapping set that looks just like this. Tell me what the Flxpoint category is, and then use our mapping tool here, or our information tool here, to pick the appropriate eBay category ID. So this is just an example of if I wanted to sell 3 categories at once on eBay with one published listings job, I can assign anklets to the appropriate category ID here, jumpsuits and rompers to a separate category, and bath salts to a third. So this list can be as extensive if you want it, however many categories you're selling in. And again, we'll help you get this configured if at all needed. Talking to a lot of users, they have something similar already kind of configured and set up because they are used to having to provide these numeric IDs, but we'll always be there for helping. So with a tool like Flxpoint here, I can put into place a mapping set to say, hey, most of the time I'm publishing in eBay category 13606. But if we see that a different category comes up, we can reference this mapping template here. So basically, anytime we see a category coming in here on the Flxpoint end, we can provide the appropriate mapping via a spreadsheet so that we can dynamically update those categories as you go to eBay. So maybe a little bit of upfront work here just to set up your category structure, far less than it would be to do these category exports. And once we have that done, we are seamlessly syncing and publishing to the categories that you've told us. So a really cool way to not have to manually pick categories for each item each time you publish, but instead we can really just take care of those in bulk with bulk actions like that. Cool. So scrolling down the rest of our mapping template here, I won't stop on every single field, but the important ones it's worth calling out. Like I called out earlier in the presentation, we can publish both new and used listings to eBay. So eBay obviously has a ton of different categorizations here for those new versus used, and we support likely all of them. So obviously, if you're selling all brand new items, you can set that up here. But if you have different use cases like selling refurbished or basically as is listings, we can configure that inside of Flxpoint as well. Just like everywhere in Flxpoint, we have the ability to set up really cool custom rules so that you can have different scenarios for when something will be listed as new and when something will be listed as not new. So we could, again, support will be able to help you set those up all day long, but we'll be able to support multiple different conditions of your products with these workflows here. Very cool. We also have good support here for different listing durations. Our default setting is good till closed. We know a lot of users will use that duration for eBay. But if you do have a strategy to end listings after a set period of time, great. You don't have to publish them and then go manage those on eBay directly. We'll give you that leeway right from the start. And then one of the last ones I want to show is this listing type. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy, but we do support both auction and fixed price listings. If you do have an auction listing, we'll have some additional mappings down below, basically to manage an auction listing better. What the starting bid is, what the maximum any buy it now offers or anything like that will be managed through our system. So those are the main areas. Everything in blue here is something that we require on a mapping template. Those are the main areas I wanted to cover. And then finally, the ability to map in those aspects that eBay requires as well. So again, we know that when you're pushing to certain categories, only some of those categories will have hard requirements on attributes that you need to assign to what they call aspects on eBay. And we'll give you the ability to map those pretty seamlessly here. You can map anything you want. I think most clients are going to be mapping their attributes field to a specific aspect there on eBay to make sure that things can continue to publish. So that is the overview of what we do in terms of publishing those listings. It is worth calling out just one last time that we do have, and excuse the mess here on some of these pages. I do a lot of testing, but we do have the ability not just to publish listings through this new eBay V2 channel, but we are importing orders dynamically in an automated fashion. We are also syncing order updates back to eBay in terms of fulfillment. Once we have gone through the fulfillment process in Flxpoint, we can let eBay know and the end customer know that shipments are on the way. And then obviously we'll keep all of your listings up to date with constant syncs. Anytime we have a new quantity or new price, we will update eBay accordingly. Anytime you ask us to pull a listing down and update it in any manner, we'll continue to do that as well. So I think that is really the meat of this new eBay integration. As Ben alluded to earlier, this presentation, won't have every single in and out for, the setup, but our support documentation will, and a phone call to our support team will always result in, getting things set up quickly here. So feel free to check out our support talks. You can always search for eBay and eBay V2. You'll be able to see all the documentation we have behind the scenes, including the good category documents that we have. And then if at all needed, set up a call with us. They're available a lot of times the same day just to review the integration and make sure we have things configured. So I think with that, I'll kick it back to you, Ben, to give us the sign off.
All right, man. Awesome. This is great. As always, great work on the integration. Everything looks amazing. I know this is going to help a ton of folks. We got people that are already using it, loving the new experience. So I think to sum it up, covered a lot of great stuff today. Like Mike said, obviously you got a sneak peek into what our head of integration screen in Flxpoint looks like. So that's exciting as well. You can rewind, take a screenshot, and you'll see how much Mike and the team have been working on over the last few years. So super exciting, I think. But to sum it all up, I'd say that our goal with today's presentation topic and this feature in general is if you're already selling on eBay and you're on Flxpoint, things just got a whole lot better, a whole lot easier for you, right? Which is always the goal. We're always trying to make things the best version, and we believe that the best version is constantly changing, right? That's why we're technology. We love innovation, and we'll continue to innovate. So this latest eBay published listings feature and eBay V2, super excited to share that with you. The other thing is, if you're not selling on eBay and you're a Flxpoint customer, it's never been easier to start. And there are a bunch of different reasons why you probably would want to look into that or could want to look into that, depending on the industry, the products that you have, suppliers you work with, et cetera. Obviously, we know that some channels are more crowded than others and getting more crowded every day. I'm not going to call any out in particular, but you know which ones it's very competitive and sometimes can be challenging. But eBay might be a good option for you. And then the third one would be, if you're not on Flxpoint, you are selling on eBay, you're interested in selling on eBay, any combination of those things, reach out to us. We're happy to walk you through a demo. Our sales team can give you expert advice on the best path for you, whether Flxpoint is that or it's something else. We just want to help you grow your business. So appreciate the time today. Anything else, Mike, before we close?
No, I think you covered it. Always good to have the marketing guy explain the key features at the end of it. I think that is a perfect summation of the value that our customers can expect out of this. So yeah, I think that should cover us.
Awesome. Well, for the rest of the audience out there, we've got a couple more webinars coming up. Stay tuned to email. Look at our website. We're actually have a couple updates coming there. We'll have a new events page where you can actually sign up for these webinars in advance. We'll have those posted there. So stay tuned for that. But I know ShipStation is coming up. We've got a couple with suppliers in particular. So keep an eye out for those. You can hear about what's going on in the supplier world, and some of that stuff might be super relevant for you. But hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week, whatever week it is when you watch this. And thanks again for the time. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, man.
Bye, everybody.